Before we begin this podcast, please be advised that the following episode contains language that some listeners may find offensive and inappropriate. The opinions expressed by the host and guests are their own and do not reflect the views of the podcast producers. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the final episode in the Brandon Pritchard story. Last week, we discovered the motives behind Brandon's presence in that house and the misleading information that led to his additional charges. Today, we'll close out Brandon's chapter with his side of the story on Voices of a Killer.
Did the victim have a violent past?
I didn't really know much of him. I just know he got really high and he was over there all the time with her, and he'd be out like going and stealing and stuff like that.
So what was what was your first reaction when he pulled that gun on you up? He's up the stairs, you're both down the stairs looking at him.
I'll tell you what, I wanted to get out of the situation, but I didn't know he got high all the time, and he had probably been up for a few days with a gun pointed at me. He looked pretty angry and he did say something to the fact that, like, I don't know if he said shoot me in the face, but he did say something, I'm going to shoot you. And it was pretty, like I said, he was pretty agitated about the whole thing. Like, I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I even told him, hey, calm down, and I tried to explain to him who I was. Like I said, because it was kind of dark, but you got a little light. It was kind of going dark from dusk till dawn or whatever you would say. Like, so it really wasn't a lot of light, and they didn't have no lights in the house, So the only light was coming in kind of from the back door. So I could kind of see him from the stairs, but even me.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
Get him to kind of lower the gun, and try to back away and leave, and stuff like that. Like I said, I was just pretty scared, and I was trying to figure out how to get out of the situation, calm him down, make him realize what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, when you say that they didn't have any lights in the house, did you mean like the electricity was turned off? Like they didn't have any?
No, they just ran the whole house off like a generator.
Okay,
like
so this is so this is almost, to envision it, it's, close to being like a trap house or something.
That's exactly what it was. That's what I'm saying. That's the type of girl we're talking about. The guys, the people that live there, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's something they never let me talk about in court. So, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it sounds like the prosecutors and the judges kind of understood something about that situation because, like I said, you didn't get off with like felony murder or murder itself. I don't know, but so.
Well, they tried.
Do you draw? Yeah. Do you draw your weapon on him?
Yeah, I did after when, like I said, he got a little closer to me. He kept like kind of walking towards me from the stairs, and I was backing up with my hands up, and I had my gun like down on my side, and I had pulled it as I was leaving. And shot a couple of times when I left. Did
your partner that was with you, did he pull out the same time and shoot or what?
I really don't. Like I said, it was kind of dark. I didn't really pay attention to him. I just know there was gunshots. And I'm pretty sure there, like even mine, I'm pretty sure there was other ones, but it was like I said, it was dark and there was a lot going on. I know I shot mine a couple of times and then I kind of ran, but there was a lot, and even him, like, I don't know. I really thought, like, at first, the first shot or whatever, leaving out, and maybe it was him shooting or whatever. I don't know.
Were you looking at him whenever? Was he in your view looking at him, or you just shot wildly?
No, I just kind of shot. Yeah, it took off. I just shot a few times and then.
What kind of gun were you? What kind of gun did you have?
I had a Derringer.
So a little small 22.
Small gun. Well, it was like a
380. What was it?
A 9mm.
Oh, 9mm. I didn't think Derringer. Okay, shows what I know.
Yeah.
So you take off. Do y'all just sprint and run out of there? Or did you know you actually hit someone?
No, I didn't know at all. Like, I knew nothing about it. And then as I got out to the kind of the street and was leaving there, then kind of my buddy was after a little bit behind me over the gate and kind of come back out and met me. And we had left with this girl, and several hours. I called a girl and I left and kind of went to work and stuff. And then I got a call saying that they think some stuff happened that night at the house.
Really? They another thing that I noticed is they make it sound like he came outside to you guys, but y'all were actually in the house when that happened.
Yeah.
Which, and the prosecutors and all that went with that narrative. You were in the house when the shooting happened.
Yeah.
Man, you were extremely, extremely lucky that you didn't get some kind of a higher charge. I mean, I hate to 15 plus 3 sucks, but you could have got like life without, you know? I mean, that's how that shit happens.
Yeah, and when I went in there too, like I said, I mean, in like the burglary and everything, like as far as that goes, though, like I really am the type of person, like I said, like if there was anybody, like I'd never seen this if them two were together.
According to documents filed in Jackson County Circuit Court, Michael Utley heard voices coming from downstairs, so he grabbed his gun and went to see what was happening. He was met by Brandon and his friend who were standing in the kitchen. Brandon asked to speak with his ex-girlfriend, and after a few minutes of arguing, Utley allegedly told them to leave. When questioned about the shooting, the ex-girlfriend said she heard Brandon yelling, "You know me, why are you pulling a gun on me?" To which Utley replied, "Because you came into my house." Moments later, she heard 5 gunshots. She told police she rushed downstairs and found Utley wounded in the foyer. He allegedly told her, "They shot me." Utley died soon after at the scene. Brandon's account of what happened seems to match the ex-girlfriend's version. However, the court left out key details like Utley's state of mind and the fact that they were in a trap house. For those unfamiliar, a trap house is a location, often a home, where illegal drugs are sold or used. These places often have people coming and going, with little control over who enters. Trap houses often remain dark at night, leading to increased paranoia. The gun used was a 9mm Derringer that Brandon had on him at the time. He apparently carried it for protection due to the nature of the neighborhood they were in. He claimed to have raised his hands when Utley approached him with a gun, slowly stepping back towards the kitchen door. When Utley reached them, Brandon took out his gun and fired while fleeing the scene, unsure of whether he had struck the victim or not. It was only the following day that Brandon was called and told about an incident in the house and that Utley had been killed. After the break, the aftermath of Brandon's actions catch up with him.
Like I said, I knew both of them. I didn't know I was really going to intrude on anything that he had going, and she had never really actually told me, "Do not come around me" or "Don't come here."
She never said that?
I would have respected that. No, I would have respected anyone at that house telling me, even if someone would have came out and said, "Hey, get out of here," you know, or just,
yeah.
I'm not saying they had to, but even like, "Hey," or hollered out the window. They said they seen me. "Hey, get away from here." Okay.
So I'm
not going to sit there and bother nobody.
So there's no record in the court or anything of them saying, anyone in that party saying, "Don't come around here"?
No.
That's actually that's probably right there actually important. I think you raised a good point there, that it's not like you were not welcome there. But again, so what really sucks is the news, the way they write it, makes it look like you were the jealous boyfriend over there because you were confronting, you know, that's awful, man. That's right
exactly
there.
What it said. It said like I went over there, kicked the door down, and shot him because I was jealous because he was with that girl, and that's not nowhere even close to what
well, you had a lot of guys to be jealous of because everybody ran through her. So,
right, yeah.
So that's crazy though. I hate the news for that, but so how long after that you got arrested?
Well, I would say like, I mean, I'm not exactly sure the day, but I think like a week or so. I think it was like a week or so that I was at my dad's house and going back and forth to work because I even told the woman and everything like that, like I was going to talk to the people because I had nothing to hide. And obviously when they got me in the interview and stuff like that, it was not really good because when they took me to the interview, I was pretty messed up on pills and drinking. Like I said, at the time, it wasn't that I was trying to get off with anything or get over on nobody. My thing was I was also going through the loss of my mother.
Yeah.
Pretty close to me, you know what I mean? So it was like I was going through a little bit.
So did you get a plea deal or did you go to trial?
Well, I did. I did both actually. I went to trial and the jury convicted me of voluntary manslaughter. So that's how that happened. They tried to give me second-degree murder. The prosecutor and the judge, or the prosecutor was trying for second-degree murder.
Yeah.
And the jury convicted me of voluntary, but they still also charged me with prior and persistent. So basically all that went back up to 8 felonies again.
Brandon blames his mental state at the time for how he acted in the interview with the police. That interview was the first step toward his conviction, and Brandon went down without a fight. Brandon's convictions were charged as Class A felonies due to his previous convictions. He was seen as a frequent offender, and the prosecuting office deemed it necessary to sentence him with the most serious class of offense. Class A felonies carry a maximum term of life imprisonment and are often attached to crimes of murder, treason, espionage, or mass trafficking of drugs. Before we finished our conversation, I wanted to know how he felt about the way the judicial system treated him. Did the state bend the truth about what happened, or was Brandon headed down the wrong path, and the jury simply fell on the side of the law? One thing is for certain, it's that behind bars, Brandon's life has irrevocably changed. And with that, we'll let him have the final word on this episode of Voices of a Killer.
Did you have a public defender?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you did well in court. Do you feel like he did a good job, or it just kind of felt like that?
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing. I don't think that we could have done any different. I mean, I think the guy was really good. Really, I mean, like, he did anything that I wanted him to do, and plus, like, I mean, yeah, he was a really good. He was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought.
Well, Brandon, I appreciate you opening up to me. I think that I'm glad I interviewed you, because the way the story plays out, I think the one big thing is number one, it's a trap house. So yeah, people just walk into them. And then secondly, you know, you weren't like had a protection order against you or anything like that. And no prior run-ins where they were called and all that stuff. So, you know, if it is like that, then, but yeah,
it's crazy how the fact that, like I said, they kept all that out of my trial. The drug use of the victim, the drug use of the witness, the drug use of the house. They kept everything, all that out. They kept the fact that there was other guys there that no one even seen either one of us shoot anybody, but they automatically charged me with this and that guy. Nothing ever happened. And I mean, like, there was so much that they kept out of this trial to these jurors.
Sure.
I think that they would like to know about that what went on. You know what I mean? And
so did the victim's family come down hard on you?
Well, they made a statement and stuff like that. And yeah, they just made a statement and stuff in the sentencing and things like that. But,
yeah. Well, like I said, I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Yep. See you. Bye.
On the next episode of Voices of a Killer.
So I had a forensic psychiatrist come and see me and do some tests with me and stuff. And he diagnosed me with what's called drug-induced psychosis. You know, I looked down and I saw her. And, you know, that was when I first realized that she was dead. And like I said, I didn't actually know she was shot then. I knew she was dead. I got it in my head that because of the whole enlightenment thing that we had gone through, me and my brother-in-law, that I could somehow basically bring her back from the dead. Like that it wasn't too late, that I could just save her somehow.
And how are you going to do that?
Basically by killing myself.
I want to thank Brandon for sharing his story today. His ability to be open and honest is what makes this podcast so special. That's a wrap on this episode of Voices of a Killer. A big shout out to Sonic Futures, who handled the production, audio editing, music licensing, and promotion of this podcast. If you want to hear more episodes like this one, make sure to visit our website at voicesofakiller.com. There you can find previous episodes, transcripts, and additional information about the podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Your feedback helps us improve and reach new listeners. Thank you for your support, and we can't wait to share more stories with you in the future. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Toby, and we'll see you next time on Voices of a Killer.